Hello, and welcome to Season 5 of TGP Has a Podcast. You're joining us once again for a chat with many famous faces from the TGP series as we talk through their trials and tribulations among the series, their successes, and their less good parts. Week 1, we are joined by Shane. Shane has been part of TGP for a number of seasons, while on and off competing in TGP 1. He's a champion 2 times over, and recently competed in the season in which he missed out on the title to a very fast-paced Cam and Softy. He hopes in the future that he's going to be able to come back and fight with him again, but will he or won't he? We'll find out a little bit later on, but first we chat about Shane with his most recent successes, but also in his first full season in TGP1, where he won the title. So here he is, Shane. So, Shane, Odems, the Confessor, you've been in TGP now for many a year under many guises and many names, but this is the first time we've had you on the podcast, so thank you very much for joining us this evening. We're going to hopefully have a very nice chat about your history in the series and what you've been up to and your successes, of course, but, once again, thank you very much for joining us and Happy New Year, of course.
Thank you. I'm more than happy to be here. Big fan of TGP's work. I'm in a lot of leagues. A lot of leagues are very sweaty, but TGP is definitely a sweet spot of casual and competitive. So happy to be here.
Well, I suppose that sort of very nicely brings me on to my sort of usual first question to everybody, really, which was just sort of how was it you came across us here? As you said, you're in a number of leagues, but how was it you managed to find your way across our little number?
So I think around 2016, um, I was doing online lobbies, and during one of these online lobbies, sorry, my smoke alarm is going to keep going off. During
That's
one of
okay.
our online
My cat's here
lobbies,
with me, so between your smoke alarm and my cat, we'll have a lot of background noise, I'm sure.
in one of these lobbies, there was this guy who kept commentating over our driving, just coming out of nowhere, and that was Ginger Andy, of course.
Of
And
course.
that's when I got to know him, and I think Jack Pierce. They don't remember this for sure. Jack Pearson, I think Philip Barger was there as well. That was a while ago. I think Softy was there too. This is back in F1 2015. And I remember I ended up subscribing to Ginger Andy, his YouTube channel, and I saw TGP one. I ended up subscribing to Softy as well, and I just watched his entire TGP one season. There's the videos he would send out, and I just loved the format of two 25% races. I thought it was great. So up until 2016, I couldn't really play as much, but I just enjoyed watching Softy's videos. He was very sweaty back then. He used to like hide his differential settings, like in the
Oh, yeah,
blur.
he tried to hide as much as he could.
Yeah, he was mega sweaty. I think he was on pad as well at the time. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
But yeah, so afterwards, I just asked to sign up when I was able to play the game a bit more next year on F1 2017, and yeah, that was when I joined.
And were you in many leagues at the time then as well, or was it TGP your first foray, or?
No, I was definitely in many leagues at the time. One Hub was my main league. Back then it was F1 TS Hub. That was my first league, and that was like my main. Like this is the league I sweat the most for. Um, and F1 2017, I was in a lot of leagues because I was playing the game a lot more. But recently, TGP One has been my only league. I did make my own league. That was just a very casual thing. But recently, TGP One has been my only one because I don't like the game anymore.
Well, I think that's that opinion is shared by many, but without wishing to dwell on that too much, you won your first ever race in TGP One in season
Yes.
29. Well, let's not forget you won your first ever championship, let alone your first ever race. But you beat Softy in Italy. How did that feel? I suppose you sort of knew of Softy from seeing him race and watching his videos, etc. So you knew the sort of caliber of driver you were up against. Was it quite satisfying beating him at the first attempt?
It was. It was. Yeah, it was. Obviously I've been in a lot of leagues, so I knew I was a quick guy. So yeah, winning Italy felt really good. The thing is, immediately afterwards was Spain, and that was a terrible race, so it kind of got washed away instantly. But yeah, winning Italy was pretty good. It was pretty straightforward, pretty easy. So yeah, I do remember that race. It was nice and calm. But the next race, I remember it more because I hated it so much.
But was that, do you think, just because of the two races in one night? Maybe that was sort of something that was quite new to you, do you think? Or is it just what had gone on?
Maybe because that whole season I never went two races in a row. Never that whole season.
No,
And
you're right. You didn't actually. Well, I mean, you
yeah,
won two of the first three races, and then
yeah,
you didn't get your next one until round 11, 8 races later.
yeah. I
So
got a considerable amount of Phil Bargeweld, um,
I think plenty of us have
especially around
experienced that.
USA. Yeah, it was a hard knock life for a while.
And I think that probably was it, that change, that transition from moving away from sort of 50% races, one race a night, focusing, getting into a groove, and then suddenly going from, actually, let's face it, two very different tracks in Monza and Catalonia. So that was
Hmm.
obviously quite hard to get your head around, I suppose, was it?
Hmm. To be fair, I'm not good at I'm not good at. Oh, you said Monza. Never mind. I'm thinking Monaco. I'm not good at Monaco, but yeah, definitely Monza, Catalonia, two different tracks. At the time, I was definitely pretty good at Monza. Catalonia, not a bit less so. But yeah, it's really harder. It's a bit harder to get into the groove because you have to practice for a track. But having two tracks there and having them like, I've never quite figured out which is the best one to practice for last. You know what I'm saying? Like, do I practice for the second race last or the second race first? Because I'm going into that one, but that might make me a bit rusty for the first one because I practiced that one first. It's a mess. But
Well,
yeah,
that's
definitely took
that's
a
the
bit
sort
of
of the
adjusting.
variable, isn't it? Really, and that's the sort
Yeah.
of the beauty of this sort of more sprint style of format. And did you find after those first few weeks doing so well as you did, and then going on that little bit of a drought, did you sort of lose a bit of interest? I mean, you started off very well, and you thought, "Oh, this is going to be a bit of fun." And then with that sort of drought coming in, do you feel like that you could have very easily have left just as quickly as you came?
No, no, I don't. I'm not a person to leave a league just because I'm not doing well. Like never. Like if it's like some. Can I curse on this podcast?
You can, yes. People have done a lot worse.
If it was some insane bullshit going on, like I didn't like the people running it or the drivers in it, and I felt things were unfair, I would leave in heart. I never thought about leaving TGP. Like even if I had a bad run, I still felt I was the quickest guy there, and I thought it was just a lot of it was down to bad luck because I did have a lot of bad luck that season,
Well,
and
I mean,
just
you say that, but you still then went to take on the title in season 29, beating the likes of Softy, John, Jake, Matt, and
Mhm.
Phil. I suppose you could class Phil in that field. Um,
That's
who all won races in
good shout.
between your round three and round 11 race victories. So it was A, a
Yeah.
competitive field, and B, perhaps then did everybody have a bit of bad luck, or do you think you were just sort of able to rise above it in the end?
No, I do think over the season I was the quickest guy. I had like the most poles by far. Um, but
Oh,
yeah,
so
I
that's
think
one thing
eventually
that
I
Dom
just
hasn't given me. I hope he's listening and realizes I actually could have given me the poll stats for that year. But anyway, yes,
yeah,
I believe you. You were the quickest driver across that field with many poles.
yeah.
Do you think that was
Um,
your forte for that season as well? Then
that's at that point F1 2017 pole was qualifying was definitely my forte, which is funny because I think it's one of my biggest weaknesses now. But at that time it was my forte. I'm gonna old, you see. At that time I was a young whippersnapper, so it was my forte. And
you had that one lap
yeah,
pace in you.
yeah, I had that one lap pace. I've lost it now. The reflexes are gone. But at the time, yeah, I definitely I got the most. I felt I was the quickest guy there, so I had no problem just like head down, keep going. And I think I just got a bit better at race management as well. Like I just made smarter decisions because over the course of F1 2017, you get better as the game goes on. So I think I just met. I remember one race. Like Russia, like for me, that just confirmed I was the quickest guy there. I started last because I think I had a quali ban for, for some shenanigans. Started on the, like there was like maybe a four-car gaggle in front of me. They pit, made my way up to fifth. I was on the harder compound, and I pretty much just overcut all of them. Like, I didn't overtake any of them on track. I just overcut them. I was just so much quicker than them, like on the alternate strategy, and I won the race by like a good 10 seconds. And after that, I was just like pretty confident that this season should be mine no matter what. So no motivation loss. Just keep going, keep going, keep going. Make sure you
Well,
get it.
you sort of made sure it was going to be your season. Really, you made sure that your head was above the pit of everybody else. Um, and with that one lap pace as well, being able to put yourself, at the end of the day, taking pole position is half the
Mhm.
battle. You put yourself in the best place then to win the race, don't you?
Yeah. back then, pole on F1 2017, pole was a lot more important because that was the game where there was a slipstream glitch. So if one person left the lobby, slipstream left the lobby. So no more slipstream. And Dirty Air was actually like the biggest it's ever been in that game. Like if people forget that Dirty Air was actually a factor in that game, it would give you a lot of understeer. So getting pole
Okay.
was very important, and it made overtaking somebody like in a way it was frustrating, but it made overtakes a lot more like decisive. If you know what I mean. Like if you overtook somebody, it was a lot bigger in the context of the race, and it was a lot harder to do, and it made you a lot
Yes.
more like desperate to do it.
And I suppose that with that then in mind, that affects massively your sort of management of it as well, I
Yeah,
suppose, doesn't it?
yeah, for sure. You definitely go for setups that are more qualifying oriented than normal. Because that I remember that season I did like spin out on my own a lot, not a lot, but like a considerable amount of times. Like Mexico qualifying, I just crashed. I just took myself out. Um, there were other races where I just spun for no reason on my own and ruined myself. So, yeah, 2017, the style of game, the style of driver I am, it definitely made things a lot harder than it probably should have been.
And and do you think that that was something that you were able to iron out as the season went on, and why maybe you were able to sort of well get a bit more consistent?
Yeah, for sure. Because I think in my run of, because once I started winning again, I also started getting like good results. Is like if I didn't win, I would also maybe finish like second or third, which was still good enough. Like I would make good decisions in strategy, much better decisions. Um, yeah, just yeah, definitely. Season went on. I just got my head down, got a lot better.
And I suppose that did that, and the you mentioned I can't remember the word you used now. We'll go with incidents. Did that sort of drive your decision then to leave at the end of the season? I mean, what was it that sort of made you think that one season, come in, win the title, that's enough for me?
You know what? I think I don't actually remember. I think I just had work. Because I enjoyed the season. Like I wouldn't, as I would never leave because I didn't like. I love TGP. I had a great time. I think I just had work at the time because I've always wondered this myself. I think at the time my schedule got moved around, so I just had work when TGP was on. So I just didn't do it that season.
And do you wish that you'd been able to do more? Do you wish you'd been able to have defended your title?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I wish I would have been able to be there for a bit longer. Yeah, I think I definitely could have stuck a couple more titles in there before this newer generation of PS5. Yeah,
And obviously that was, let's not forget, F1 2017 was the first game of the new generation of cars as well. We never really got to see you in the older generation of cars. Do you think that that car suited you a little bit better as well, or was it just sort of you were going to be quick, come what may?
I think if you were quick on 16, you were quick on 17. I don't think it was that big of a difference. On 16, I had a wheel actually, and I was very quick there. But I think on 16, a lot of people were less experienced in the game, so it might have just been relative. On 17, I was back on controller. Um, Honestly, I can't tell you if I was quicker on 17 than on 16. I used racing line and brake assist, ABS on 17, so maybe I guess I was better on 17, but I don't think there was too much of a difference to translation over.
Yeah, I was going to come on to that because am I right in saying you still use a pad even today?
Yes. Yeah.
How do you find you're able to find the time to be as quick as you are on a pad? Is it just something that you can sort of pick up naturally through it and you don't feel you need it? Have you ever used a wheel or?
Yeah, I used to use a wheel on 2015, 2016. I had a wheel, and I was good on the wheel. It's a lot more fun than the pad, for sure. I just have no space in my room, monetary issues, all that stuff.
Hmm.
And yeah, I think I've been playing F1 games since I was like 6, right? Like I've been playing F104 when I
Yes,
was
that was a
younger. I
great
played it
game.
for years. Oh, I loved it so much. Played that one for years, and
I think Studio Liverpool made some fantastic
oh yeah, they did,
Formula One games.
they did. I love the little intros as well.
Yeah, they
Um,
were cracking. Especially the one was it F105, which had the Muse song on it,
yeah,
which went on for ages, but it was brilliant.
yeah, those games were great. Um, yeah, I played those games a lot. F1 Championship Edition, of course, I played that too. So I was something I'm used to. Like a lot of people ask me how I'm so quick on a pad, and it's just something I'm used to, I guess. You hold the left stick forward when you drive, so like you can be steady, so you're not just moving left side to side really like erratically. And yeah, just guess experience and practice.
So you had some time away,
Hmm.
and then you rejoined us. Oh gosh, when did you rejoin us? Season 38. So what would that have been? 8 seasons
Nine
away.
years. Yeah.
Um, what made you come
Nine.
back?
Um, I was like just in the mood for league racing again. I had stopped league racing in about 2019. So
So you stopped it
2020 and
entirely at that
2021.
point.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hmm.
2020, 2021. I did a few leagues here and there, but I just wasn't into it anymore. I was just kind of done with it. Um, I was on my still had my PS4 at the time, and then 2022 I just got the urge to do it again, and I thought, hey, no better place than TGP, because as I said, I wanted something casual. I don't want to be sweaty, because that's one of the reasons I left. Because like I hate things just getting so sweaty. So
And did you find that that was happening with other leagues as well, and TGP was
for sure,
remaining
yeah.
relatively unsweaty?
For sure, yeah. Like, I still want competitive, but I just don't want. Like, I was in another league. This is a bit of a tangent, but I was in another league at the same time as TGP last season, and it was just so sweaty. Like, yeah. Every time I had a race, I would literally be sweating. Like, it was just the most intense. You had to practice serious. The guys who I was racing with practiced easily over 10 hours a week for one
Wow.
race. Easily over 10 hours. It was ridiculous. Like, I don't want to practice more than like one for TGP. Like,
Well, you want it
getting
to
my,
be
and that's
enjoyable,
one if
don't
I
you?
if I haven't actually driven the track yet. That's one if I haven't driven the track. If I've driven the track yet as a league race, I can do it in like 30 minutes. I'm done. I don't need to practice anymore. Run me the race. But
It's
yeah,
still got to be enjoyable as well as competitive, isn't it?
yeah, of course. And just practice, min maxing. Maybe there's an element of fun there, but like doing it too much is just it's just too much for me. So yeah, TGP was right up my alley. So I was more than happy to come back.
But let's not forget, you came back and you weren't that competitive straight away. It took a little while
No,
for you to
I
find your
was terrible.
feet.
I was garbage.
But also, really in the grand scheme of things, then you look at it another way. It also didn't really take you very long to find your feet because you were back at the sharp end again towards the end of the season. So, how was that able to turn around so quickly as well? Was that just sort of putting the time in again, enjoying the game again, or did that just sort of the speed just come back naturally?
I think F122 was a really hard game. My issue with F122 is that I would always bottle it. Like every race, I would bottle it. Softy was just like, Shane, you gotta stop this, bro. You gotta stop bottling it, because I would always be in the hunt for a win. Silverstone, France, these races I should have won. I was fastest guy there, and I just spun. I just completely spun. Traction on that game was impossible for me to deal with. It was just so different to what I was used to. So yeah, I definitely struggled. I got it together for a couple races. Japan, I don't know how I won Japan. That's crazy. It's a wheel track through and through. Japan, and Hungary. Those races I was able to not bottle it, but every other race it was something else. Brazil, another one I remember bottling hard. It was just really hard to get used to F1 2022. At least
And
on the
you
PS4.
and you had a few incidents with the eventual title winner from that season, Jack
I
Hickman.
did kill Jack Hickey a lot. I did murderize him a lot.
Yeah, what do
Yeah.
you remember of that?
I remember most of the time it being my fault.
Well, at least you can own up to it. That's good.
Yeah, like I remember even like Canada, I took out Jack Pearson. I was like, "Sorry, Jack, I'm a rusty." He's like, "Shut up, man. Don't talk to me." I was very rusty. Like most of the incidents were absolutely on me. I can tell you that one for free. Thankfully, I didn't ruin Jack Hickey's title charge though.
Well, he still won at the end of the day, which is the most
He did.
important thing, isn't it?
He did, in spite of my efforts.
Despite it all going wrong. And if I remember rightly, you had quite a controversial penalty in the US as well that season, um, where I think it was an incident with Phil in which you drove back onto the track as Phil was on a qualifying lap.
Yes.
what what happened there?
No, I will die on this hill. Yes, I came back. I spun out coming out the first corner, and I came back onto the track. But in my defense, Phil Bargewell took the most bizarre line you'll ever see. He was in Mexico. I don't know where he was going. He was so far wide of the racing line. Like I'm pretty sure he lost like a tenth just there, just from the line he was taking. It's a simple right-hander, and he was so wide left for no reason whatsoever. Like he put himself there. He wasn't like lost of traction or anything. He put himself there for no reason whatsoever. Lost a lot of time, and then crashed into me, who just happened to be dolling there. Like anybody else, that's a non-issue because they shouldn't have been in the first place. Yes, I came back on the track illegally. That's whatever. But like, it's 60-40 is what I'm trying to say. It's 60-40.
I think that's a fair reflection. You know,
Thank
with
you.
these sort of incidents, it's very hard for it takes two to tango, doesn't it? It's not
It
sort of
does.
quite all on one party. But did you feel particularly sort of enraged, shall we say, immediately after the incident, or was it one of those ones you just sort of took on the chin?
Yeah, I took it on the chin. I was like, yeah, whatever.
Move on.
So it's been hard to argue the whole coming back on the track illegally like that. But I still thought it was his fault. But it was whatever.
And so that was season 38, and then season 39 comes around, and
Hmm.
you just hit the ground running. Doesn't even do it justice. You
Yeah.
won 10 of the first 11 races, and it just felt like this run. I was doing the commentary for it, and it just felt like this run was never going to end. It was just going to be week after week after week after week. It was going to be you taking title after title,
Hmm.
title after title, win after win, I should say. However, the Netherlands,
Oh, jeez.
the one blip on your scorecard for that first 11 races of the season.
Hmm.
How did the spin happen?
Basically, I didn't want to lose the position to Dan, the man, because I felt like if I did that, my wrist would have been heavily compromised. So I tried to just stick it out around the outside. He gave me space. It's just I got on the curb, and the curb just auto spun me, and that was pretty much it. Then obviously it's Zandvoort, so coming back to the field is just near impossible. And I think I hit or got hit by Kieran. I lost my front wing, so that just ruined everything then and there. So that race was done. And yeah, that was a great start to the season. And I think it's solely due to the fact that I got a PS5. Because I said this in the chat as well. I said this in the chat. As soon as I started playing on PS5, I was like half a second quicker, immediately half a second quicker. And I said in the chat, I was like, I'm like a lot quicker on this PS5. And I'm not sure who it was. It might have been yeah, Aiden, who I know for a fact hates me. And I even Aiden, he was like, "Yeah, sure, buddy, whatever you say." Sure,
And
you're
then all of
quicker.
a sudden,
And then yeah, proved it. 10 out of 11.
I mean, that is
Then I
just
got pneumonia, which is kind of fun.
well, it's an extraordinary run, really. And as I said, well, we were commentating, we were thinking, it just doesn't seem like it's going to end. No one can seem like they're going to get close to you. And then, Lord and behold, you sort of you were your own downfall in the Netherlands. Do you feel disappointed you weren't able to do 11 in a row? Is that something that you're really
Yeah, that
annoyed with
definitely
yourself about?
stings a bit. That definitely stings a bit for sure. Yeah, definitely. Really wanted to get that one. I was like, I really wanted to get it. Um,
And
I think I won the
and
next
then
race after that, didn't I?
yeah, you did.
It
Yeah, yeah,
was
yeah. It
yeah, it
was
was the
it
first race
was
of the night.
within
Yeah.
that run of I can't remember quite where it was on the calendar. I've got to be honest with you, but it was still. It might have been round 9 or 10 if I remember rightly. Because I think you'd done something like 8 in a row or something. I seem to remember.
Yeah.
A stupid number,
Yeah. Yeah.
nonetheless.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And then I won the next like three. Yeah. It was.
And let's not forget, obviously, you went on to win that title at a canter in the end. Did that
Hmm.
did that title feel a little bit more? How can I put it? Well, did it feel better than the first one?
It did. I did simply because I just drove far better and I put together a much better season, and I just yeah that season I barely put a foot wrong. I think maybe two three races I did something bad or wrong or maybe even unfortunate, but most of the time I was absolutely on it. I think Imola I definitely balled myself because it was crazy. Imola annoys me too because Kieran was using all of his ERS to keep up with me, and I was just chilling. I was like having the time of my life. I was living my best life. Like he had like I want to say 30 ERS, I had like 80. I was just keeping him out of DRS, and then I just balled it. No
Oh
stress,
yeah, I
no
remember
worries.
that.
Just chucked it off, hit the curb at the wrong angle,
Was it a
chucked it off the
Tamburello?
track. Yes, Tamburello, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you ended up
Just
in
hit
the
the wrong,
gravel, didn't you?
yeah, just hit the wrong curve, hit the curb the wrong angle, just into the gravel. It was the laziest bottle I've ever had in my life, which was very annoying because I'd been very careful of that season. But yeah, that was vexing.
Well, it was very kind of you to give someone else an opportunity to win a race
It
at that
was,
point.
it
I'm sure they
was,
really appreciated it.
yeah.
Um, Unable then to defend your title in season 40, two on the bounce that you'd won the title and then
Mhm.
not been able to defend it, this time for different reasons. The first one, obviously, you weren't there. This one, you very much were there, as it turns out. So, how did it feel then not being able to defend it come the next season? Obviously, on a different game, on F1 23, do you think that had something to do with it?
Frustrating because I think I was better on 23 than I was on 22. I think I just had no luck. Like that season, also no luck, and also I didn't take part in most of the races. Not most of the races, but I took part in. I think I missed like something like five, six races. Um, just for the personal stuff. So frustrated, but like there's not much I could have done. I lost a lot. I lost a lot of time. But the races I did do, I was very unlucky a lot of the time. I remember Singapore. I was doing well, having a well of a time in second place. I'm terrible at Singapore, so I'm more than happy with second place. And then Cam just lags into me and just wrecks me. Just completely lags into me, takes me out of the race,
Oh,
and
and then he
that's
put you in
done.
the barrier, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah,
Yes, I remember that now.
yeah. Just race over, completely finished. Um, I remember Silverstone. I was in the race, and then my aunt called me because she needed help because she was getting a new mattress, so she needed somebody to like bring the mattress up.
Weren't you winning as well at the time?
No, maybe. I think there was a race where I was winning, and then I had to go.
And then you had to go. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, that definitely happened a couple times. Yeah, it was just a season full of just tragedy.
Just something after another, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then
So unable to
Cam
defend
won
the
the
title in
season.
season 40. We now look ahead to season 41. Do you think you can get yourself back in the mix with Cam and Softy?
I mean, I was in the mix with Cam and Softy. It wasn't pace was not an issue. The issue was
Well,
just not being
it's
there.
yeah. But do you think you can commit to the season and get yourself up there with them?
It's gonna be tough because I am gonna be starting school again, so it is gonna be tough. I'm gonna have to look and see if I can fit it in. Because also I've deleted the game in the absence of
What in
TGP
sheer
one.
protest?
No, in the absence of TGP one, I'm not in any of the leagues. I've deleted the game, and like I'm not gonna lie, it's been lovely not playing F1. It's been it's been a great little break. So I'm not like rearing to go, but I'll see if I can fit it in if my schedule will allow it.
And obviously, you mentioned about deleting the game, being busy, etc. Let's not forget, you did um, set up and run your own league on F1 2022 for a period of time. How did
Yes.
you find being on the opposite end of the coin, being the one that had everything reported to, rather than perhaps being the one reporting things
Okay,
and
to be
all the
fair,
rest?
I have been like an admin for like as I said, one hub, the F1 TS
Mm.
Racing League. I was like an admin there, so I was like in making decisions and things like that, like in charge of stuff. I did the media stuff. I had all that, so I was used to like having that sort of like responsibility. But being the owner and being like a steward and things like that, it was it makes you really hate the drivers because you give them the most basic instruction known to man, and like 5 minutes before the race, they're just like, "Wait, is there a race on today? Was I supposed to check in? What race is it today? Where are we racing today?" It's like, you are you a child? There's no way you don't know this. We have a
It,
system where on Discord, just if you're gonna race, check in. If you're not gonna race, don't check in. And
it's quite
people,
simple, isn't it? It's not a big task.
it's the simplest concept you'll ever hear in your life. And some people just do not do it. They just refuse to do it. Like they'll do it once, and sometimes they'll do it. Then sometimes they won't do it, and then they're like, "Why don't I have a seat?" Well, you didn't check in, mate. Well, what do you mean why don't you have a seat?
It's
It's
it
aggravating
should
as hell, but
be
it's also
quite
fun.
straightforward, shouldn't it? And, you know, and
It
actually,
really should be.
especially when most of the drivers you would have raced with before in various other leagues, etc., so they know how it works. It's not completely Greek to
Yeah.
them, is it?
No, it's not. And a lot of people like would get frustrated and just leave as well, like after like one bad race. It's a lot harder on that side to keep track of things, for sure.
And do you think you'll find yourself doing it again?
Mm, maybe if I have time. The reason I stopped it because I just couldn't do it on Fridays anymore, because I have work and stuff like that. So if
And
I have
Friday's a
time,
difficult day of
maybe
the week anyway for people
it
committing, I
is.
suppose.
It is. I was looking for the no lives like myself, you know.
Wow,
Uh,
I can very easily join that club. Um, so let's look ahead then. So season 41 comes around, F1 2023, 23 even. Um, Shane maybe back on fine form, hopefully, you know, in that title battle with Cam and Softy. In all
mhm.
seriousness, do you think you can do it?
Um, yes, I
And then,
can.
more
If against
importantly,
Cam, not an
are you going to be
issue.
able to defend the title if you win it?
Against Cam, comfortably, honestly, I think I could easily. Against Softy, it'll be a much harder battle. But yeah, I think I could do it.
Well, it's one that we're definitely going to be all there for, that's for sure. Now, I'd like to end the episode as we always do, with some quick fire questions, if you don't mind. Um,
I don't mind.
Great news. So, first things first, favorite track to race on any game?
Bahrain.
Least favorite track to race on any game?
Monaco, Singapore. Those two, I need them
See, I
in the
don't
pits
get
of
the
hell.
hate towards Singapore. It's a fantastic track.
I think it's with Singapore. I get it. Like, I don't think I think it's I think I can understand why people like it, but myself, I just hate it with a passion. I hate driving on it so much. Baku too. I think I just don't like closed walls. Close walls.
It does seem that way. Did you race in Las Vegas last season? I don't think you did you?
Um, did I? I don't think so. No,
No, I don't think you did.
but I have raced in Las Vegas before at a different place, and I didn't
Yes.
hate it.
Okay. Well, we'll wait and see how that one goes then. Who is your favourite driver to race against?
To race against. Probably Softy, because I think Softy's very aggressive, but like
He's sort of
he's fair
subtly
about it.
aggressive, isn't he?
He's fair about it, and like if he does take you out, he'll be like, that might have been my fault. Like a lot of the times he had an incident with Cam, and he was like, he would never go crazy. He'd be like, that might have been my fault. That might not have been my fault. I'll look at it after the race, like mid race. And I think I do appreciate that, being able to be like level headed during the race. And he was aggressive as well, but like the right kind of aggressive. So I definitely would say Softy. If you're gonna ask me the opposite, I have a list.
I am about to ask you the opposite. So let's hear it.
Cam, I hate racing with Cam. Phil Bargewell, I would rather jump off a 54-foot story building into a vat of lava than race in any semblance against Philip Bargewell.
I think most people would agree.
Um, yeah. Who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? Who else? Um, oh, what's his face? You know the guy. Oh, the guy who keeps leaving and not and then rejoining again.
What,
Cam.
CJH?
Not yeah, CJH, not Cam. CJH. I think his name is Cameron as well. Whatever. CJH. Oh, I hate racing CJH so much. And the thing is, what I hate about I say this all the time. What I hate about racing CJH is that you'll have the most stressful battle of your life where you think you're gonna get taken out every single corner. It's just the worst experience ever. And afterwards you'll be like, huh, good battle, mate. No, it wasn't a good battle actually. It was not a good battle. Don't say that to me. I hated it. Every single second I hated it.
Well, I think that's a fair reflection. I'd say all in all.
Thank you.
And a fair list of people.
Thank you.
So, last but not least, then, if TGP was to do a league on any game, what would you like to see TGP do a league on?
Football manager.
Football Manager. That is a fantastic shout.
Yeah, it would take a bit to set up and like it would take a while to get through a season, but it'd be fun.
Yeah, that would be quite entertaining, actually. Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Hmm.
Well, Shane, Odems, the Confessor, all of the above, and it has been a pleasure having you join us on our little podcast. So thank you very much for
Thank you.
coming along, and we will see
Thank
you
you. It's
back on
been
track,
great.
as we've said, very soon in season 41 of TGP1. Maybe for a third title. Um, Maybe not. Let's hope certainly for the former. But once again, thank you very much for a very fun chat, I have to say. And
Thanks for
we'll
having
see
me.
you on track very soon.
Yeah, hopefully. Thanks.
So there we have it. A really good chat there with a man who's had so much success in the TGP series. And it's going to be really interesting to see if he can continue with that success in the future. And also his rather strong opinions on a member of the TGP series that he has competed with so closely. Next week, we've got Cam on the show, where I'm sure he'll be able to answer his critics, particularly those from Shane, and we see what he thinks when he comes up against the microphone. A man that has had mixed success within the TGP series, but is, at the end of the day, our reigning TGP1 champion. Can he do that again next season? Well, we will find out. After Cam, we've got many more famous faces to come in what will be, I'm sure, a very good season of the podcast. But for now, it's goodbye.